from Raider Nation from the local Atlanta affiliate. Alright, so Sunday, Oakland Raiders had their first game of the season. They won 26-16. It's a road game against the Titans. The Raiders have actually played the Titans, I believe, in Nashville for the last 3 years. They walked away with a W in all of them. So, no need to have road games against the Titans every year. I mean, apparently we've got something working against them. So, I'm in favor of that as far as a scheduling oddity. Alright, so yeah, as for the game itself, a lot of things to talk about. Obviously, I think the big breakaway star for here is, of course, our new starting kicker, Giorgio. And Giorgio, I mean, really had a great day. Let's see what we have here, the official stats. He had 2 from 52 yards out, and he had a couple more. There were chip shots. But yeah, he put 14 points on the board for the Raiders, 4 for 4. Just a really, really good overall performance. I mean, I'm one of those guys where you don't really want to be blinded by nostalgia. You know, I love Seabass as much as everybody else, but you know, you gotta move on eventually. I mean, he's been in the league for 17, 18 seasons. You know, the clock's running short on him, and the fact that nobody wanted this Giorgio Tavaccio guy, that he just went through 3 teams and nobody wanted him, and he ends up in the Raiders and ends up really sort of revitalizing his career. I mean, that's a classic Raiders story. You know, taking the cast off and the unwanted and then coming out to the West Coast and just having your entire career just resurrected. I mean, that's what the Silver and Black's all about, and it's clear to see that kind of happening with this new kid who's going to be kicking for us, hopefully for a long time to come. And of course, speaking of comebacks and career revitalizations, you got to talk about Marshawn Lynch. 76 yards on the day, 18 carries, no touchdowns. And it wasn't until I actually saw Marshawn Lynch get on the field that I realized just how much more powerful he makes this team. Because I look at this team, if you didn't have Marshawn Lynch in the game, with Marshawn Lynch in the backfield, you're creating the ability to control the tempo. You couldn't do that with Latavius Murray. You couldn't do that with all the guys you had before. Darren McFadden couldn't do it. You couldn't control the tempo. You couldn't control the clock. You couldn't, sort of work around that and, set up the pass to run. Now the Raiders have options where it's not just Derek Carr having to always throw for it on 3rd down. I mean, you do have an entirely different weapon set. It controls the pace of the game. I mean, you saw just how good having that really solid, sustained driving attack helped the team, because they had like, a 12-minute long possession in the first quarter. I mean, that definitely eats up time, gives them yardage, controls the tempo of the game, the pace. And I think that's a weapon that you need to have if you want to be a Super Bowl caliber team. I mean, last year was fun, but a lot of those games were just rolls of the dice, just complete, Donnie Brooks. What I saw from the Raiders, just the way they controlled the clock, the play selection, much more methodical. Last year the Raiders found ways to win games. They forced wins. This game against the Titans, they engineered it. This is one of those things where, by the 3rd quarter, they said, okay, we got the lead. Here's what we're going to do to hold on to it. Let's not make this any more dramatic than it needs to be, and then walk away with a double-digit victory. And really, the run game is a big part of that. Just looking, what they had, 109 yards overall as far as rushing. Jalen Richard got 22 yards. Everybody else, below 10, not really a whole lot to talk about. But just watching Marshawn, I got to talk about this guy because I watched him play in Seattle, but I really didn't, observe him and really put, the microscope on him until I started playing for my team. But just watching this guy play, I mean, he's a dude where whatever the amount of yardage a normal running back would get in the NFL, he gets about 3 more. Because there are plays that I saw him run where he got 4 or 5 yards easy that, if you had Latavius Murray or Jalen Richard in the backfield, it would be for 1 yard or a 2-yard loss. This dude is just a field-churning machine. And having him, like I said, on the offense, such a pivotal part of the overall success of the offense. The fact that you have a guy out there who can really set up the pass run, which we couldn't do in years past, really makes this a much, much more versatile and far more dangerous offense. I mean, we were already one of the best offenses in the NFL last year, and now with that weapon, with that newfangled run game, we are going to cause some damage this year. Alright, and obviously you got to talk about passing. Derek Carr had a great day, 22 for 32, 262 yards, 2 touchdowns. He got sacked twice. I'll talk about the O-line in just a minute, but overall, really nothing bad to say about this. Good performance all around, very solid. Receivers, what can you say? Amari Cooper had that awesome, just trucking touchdown early in the first. where he just barreled over like half the defensive line of Tennessee. That was great. Michael Crabtree leading receptions, 83 yards on 6 catches, very good. Seth Roberts doing what Seth Roberts does, catches one pass all day, it's a touchdown, 19-yarder. Jared Cook, though, he's the guy where as the tight end, just going out there, just looking fantastic. I mean, the Raiders really didn't actually have much of a tight end threat last year, but with Jared Cook, oh my God, that opens up so many possibilities on the long ball. So you throw in the tight end, you throw in the Cook option, you throw in the Cordell Patterson option. We'll talk more about him in just a minute. You throw in Marshawn Lynch, you got the run game. This offense is going to be absolutely horrifying this year. Not in the bad way, horrifying to other teams. For Raiders fans, awesome. But this team is going to score a lot of points and put up a lot of yardage. And the rest of the AFC West, you're on note. All right, so moving along there, offensive line, you gave up the 2 sacks, but I think you had Vandal Alexander going in there. You didn't have your official starters on those possessions, so I'm not going to make too much out of that. Overall, the O-line looked great. You can't say about Osmole and Hudson. Even though Hudson did get a pretty dumb penalty, they're good. They're solid. No reason to worry about that at this point. Special teams, I think, was really sort of the unsung champion of this. I mean, obviously you had Giorgio knocking the 4 field goals, but Marquette King knocking it down and then having Patterson hold it down at the Tennessee 2-yard line. That's the kind of thing that wins games that nobody talks about. Very good containment. Tennessee has one of the best kick returners in the league, and I think he never got past the 40-yard line. Just very, very good playing containment on that. Special teams are great. We've got a great kicker. We've got a great punter, and I think it's only a matter of time before Mr. Patterson starts getting us some special teams touchdowns. He's going to be very, very solid this year. So that's another thing to look forward to. Great offense, great special teams. So, of course, we've got to talk about the Achilles heel of the team, or at least the Achilles heel of it last year, the defense. And, well, there were some problems. I mean, they did let Tennessee rack up 255 yards passing, but they actually held them to only 95 yards rushing. So I think we're seeing a little bit better of a rush-stopping defense. Khalil Mack got a couple of hurries, got some good tackles, some drops behind the line. Only had 1 sack on the day, but everybody got in there. I think like 4 or 5 people actually officially tackled Mariota on that one. But definitely they rushed him, especially on 3rd down. I mean, obviously during the first half of the game, 3rd downs were a nightmare. We just kept giving them up. But in the later half of the game, the tempo changed. The pace all of a sudden, Mariota's under pressure. The Raiders just keep sending their dudes out there. They're getting incompletions. The ball carriers getting crushed behind the line. They couldn't run worth a damn. That's what you need. That's what you're going to see this defense do. And I think, the front 7, not a whole lot to complain about, even though Bruce Irvin's penalties were back-to-back, actually, were just so stupid. But yeah, I really can't complain about that. So, of course, the problem, the secondary, cornerbacks and our safeties. Obviously, you didn't have Conley play. And so you had Sean Smith, you had, who else did you have? You had David Amerson in the backfield. Who else was there? TJ Kier was the other guy, and Reggie Nelson. Okay, I don't know. I mean, maybe like 2 out of those 4 I think are really, really, really good players. And the other 2, not really doing it for us. So we saw our guys get burned quite a few times, especially on the left side for whatever reason. They were able to work that one. We got to do something about that. So yeah, I mean, the jury's still out. I mean, that's really the big, shining, glaring defensive deficiency the team has. If Conley changes that, maybe it will, maybe it won't. But, just from what I've seen, the defense overall, especially stopping the run, looks better. But against the pass, especially the long pass, well, same old Raiders. We'll see if that changes. Hopefully it does. But overall, defense looks marginally better than it did this time last year. I mean, they look better, against times than they did against the Saints last year for sure. I mean, they were just getting churned up. So, there we go. I mean, great offense, great special teams. Defense, too early to tell, but it looks like we're going to be marginally better than last year. We got some games coming up against the Redskins and Jets where I think that's really going to tell us whether or not our defense is, championship caliber or just enough to get us in the playoffs. But overall, I mean, a very, very good performance for the Raiders. And, it's like I said earlier, I think this is a game where last year the Raiders would have won by like 2 points or 3 points or maybe even would have lost. But this year they walked away, they commanded that game. They're a more cerebral team. There's better play selection. With the new pieces on offense, you can extend drives, you can control the clock, you can chew up the field, you can be a more methodical team. You can keep the ball out of the hands of the offense of the other team way, way longer. And that's how you win games. You control the clock. And I don't know what the official time possession here was. I'm going to look at that real quick. But it's got to be something pretty absurd. That's really the big variable here. Let's see. Play-by-play. Yeah, okay. Hold on. We're getting there. Time possession, 31-39 for the Raiders, 28-21 for the Titans. But you got to remember, the time possession for the Titans, that was all like in the second half because they didn't really have much possession at all during the first two quarters. 22 first downs for the Raiders, 21 for Tennessee. Let's see what's going on here. Any other statistical things of note I think that are important? Raiders had 22 first downs, 21 for the Titans. Third down efficiency, 5 for 12 for the Raiders, 7 for 14. So, yeah, need to work on that. But red zone, that's a big one because the Titans were in deep Raider territory 3 times, walked away with 1 score. Raiders were in Tennessee Titans territory 3 times, got 2 touchdowns out of it. So, what do you say there? Well, at least 2 scores out of it. Sorry, my bad. I don't want to be saying things that are erroneous there. But yeah, overall, like I said, it's a very, very, very good performance. It's one of those things where you beat a potential playoff team by 10 points on opening day in their home field. Can't complain about this. This is the new look Raiders. Solid offense, controlling the clock. They're the cerebral assassins now. You're not just out there, having these wild guerrilla fights we did last year where the final score is going to be like 48-43. They're not doing TCU Baylor ball anymore. It's a real football team playing real smart. Just controlling the clock, controlling the tempo, and just squeezing opponents into submission. That's what you want to see. And we got the run game, we got the tight ends, great special teams, defense looks improving. Could be a very, very good year if you're a Raiders fan. All right, so next week we got the Jets. The Jets did not do well against Buffalo at all, so that's going to be in Oakland. You don't want to say that things are a lock because when you do that, if you get too cocky, bad things happen. So I'll say, don't sleep on the Jets. I mean, they do have some weapons. I can't think of any, but I'm sure they're there. But that should be a fun one. We'll see if the defense improves. We'll see if the offense can really start putting up some numbers next week. And I, for one, am excited to get this first win of the season. Raiders are officially 1-0. Let's see how long we keep the streak going. Hopefully for a long, long time.